Yeah, we shouldn't just talk about love in February during Valentine's Day, because why? We all need love, all right? So if you are single and you're wondering, how long do I have to wait? All right, am I doing it the right way? It's so hard out here to date, okay? If you are married and the person you're married to may be straying, this is a conversation definitely for you. Make sure that you tune in, and you can join us on social media, join in on the conversation. Hashtag NTV Better Living is how you can do that, and we're everywhere. Better Living KE, right there on your screen is how you can follow us and join in on the conversation. I'm really excited about my guest because she seems to just make everything sound so simple when it comes to finding solutions for this difficult thing called love. Maggie Gitu is here, looking beautiful as ever. Welcome her out. She's here. Come here, hon. Kuja. Hello. How are you?
I'm so happy to be here.
You too. Oh, so good to see
good
you.
To see
Papa
you.
hugs.
Thank you for having me.
You look lovely.
Thank you.
You and Sesmo had a chat.
Yeah.
Red. Mm-hmm. Color of love.
Yes.
Fantastic.
We had a little,
Before we even start on this big conversation, Sesmo, did you know that this woman is an opera singer? Imagine.
I don't know.
Yeah, should we make her sing later?
Yeah, later.
Should we make her sing later? Y'all need to hear her voice for real. And I'll tell you who she's related to, then it'll all make sense. Later.
I don't even know what to say.
Later. Later. We'll do all that later. How are you, hon?
I'm good.
Good to see you.
Thank you. Good to see you too.
This thing, I call it an epidemic, actually. The singleness in Kenya. I feel, because, and listen, I'm not just basing this on nothing. I have received so many emails on relationships, finding love, on being single, on hookups, more than any other topic since I started this career. And I feel that the issue of love and finding a mate is one of the toughest things, not just for Kenyans, globally. What do you think?
I think that how we're coupling now in this 21st century is so different from how our parents coupled. So your demographic is probably people in their 20s to 30s, and developmentally speaking, that's the time when you want to get together with somebody, probably have a family, or get into your coupling season of your life. So that does make sense to me. I don't know, I think there's an attitude that being single is a negative thing.
Right.
And so we carry it like an epidemic, like a weight on our shoulders. But in actual fact, it's just a season of life. And like in planting, corn comes in, and then beans come in, and then pears come in. I mean, it's just part of life, and your time will come.
You know, you make it sound so nice and easy, but there are people who've been single for many years. They're looking for a mate, and I think because it's instilled in us that we have been built to be with someone from when we were children, in the Bible, in many religions, and just as human beings, we know and we're not built to be alone. And so when these desires come up, and when you want to find someone, and the 21st century does not make it easy, then you can't really say, can you really say that it's okay, just chill, wait?
I think I would.
Yeah?
I would. I mean, we're in a different time. Our parents, our grandparents got married at 15?
Yeah.
20? Today, if you tell a 20-year-old, if your 20-year-old niece or nephew wants to marry or get married, you're going to say, well, you're too young. What are you doing?
Are you pregnant?
Yes. Did something happen?
Yeah.
What's the rush?
Right.
So we're just in a different time. And I think my attitude about taking it easy is more about accepting what is now. A lot of anxieties as a result of wishing things were different from what they are, and then feeling kind of helpless about it. And you're not helpless.
Yeah.
And even if you are helpless, this is where you are right now. You're single, you want to couple, you want to get married. That doesn't change it. So relaxing about it doesn't mean that all of a sudden you don't want to be with somebody. It just means that in your season of waiting, you're not waiting in a state of anxiety, because anxiety cannot allow love to bloom.
Right, that's very true.
Love isn't a thing that just comes. Love is allowed in. And there can be no allowing when there is chaos.
Yeah.
Right?
I like that. Yeah, there can be no allowing when there's chaos.
Yeah.
But when you look at, and I think even research says this, that, when you're desperate, the other person, and if you maybe perhaps meet someone for the first time, or you go on a date, you're hooked up, or you like a friend, they'll know, instinctively they'll just be able to tell, hey, Maggie's a bit desperate for this relationship, or Kobi's a bit desperate for this.
Yes.
How do you decipher between being intentional about finding the right person for you and sort of staying away from the desperate and neediness that can come out of that.
Yeah. You know, desire is different from desperation, right? So desire is about you. It's about saying, I like her, I like him. And the person feels that. They feel, I am liked by this person. I am desired by this person. Desperation is about the person.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I need to get married. And so that person recognizes that they're not present in that fantasy.
Yeah,
they are
one man band.
It's a one-man band. It's a one-woman show, and no one is attracted to that. There isn't anybody who's attracted to the idea that, oh, you just like me for yourself, and I'm just a prop.
Yeah.
No one wants to be a prop in somebody else's. Yes.
Yeah, because you're hot. I can take you out and make you look nice in front of my colleagues.
Yes.
Then you are just nice. Nobody wants that.
Yeah, no one wants to be used, because desperation is about using that other person to satisfy yourself. And who cares what happens to them? Yeah. Desire is about saying, I like this person, and I think I need to like make sure I get myself together so that even when they like me, it adds up for both of us.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So in terms of how do you become desirable, and how do you go from a state of desire as opposed to a state of desperation, I always say start by going inward. A lot of desperation is actually external.
Yes.
You're looking out there.
It's very physical.
Yes.
Yeah.
But go inward. So a lot of us have forgotten how to laugh. We've forgotten the things that make us happy. You used to like makeup. You don't wear makeup anymore. You like traveling. You haven't seen a plane, train, or a bus in God knows how long. Yeah. And then you're expecting that somebody will want you. But what you want them to do is drown in your misery.
Yeah. You just want someone to join you in this.
Well, no.
Yeah, nobody's going to.
Nobody wants to drown in your misery. People want to be a part of the blooming that you're in. So bloom.
Bloom.
Yeah, pay attention to what makes your soul sing. I say this with my clients all the time. What makes your soul sing? I want to see an actual list. And many times people are stunned. They say, what does make my soul sing? Because we've gotten into kind of the routine of life. Wake up, go to work, go home, maybe have a coffee. It's just la, 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 la. No one wants that. And anyway, love does not come in the kind of blah, blah, blah of life.
Yeah.
So you have to kind of turn inward. And it's like you're healing yourself from the inside out. You're taking care of yourself from the inside out. Mm-hmm. And then when somebody comes in, even they recognize that, whoa, this is not, you've heard men saying, some chicks you don't just approach willy-nilly, to borrow your word, right? Some women you have to like really pay attention to, can I handle that?
I step up to this.
Yes, because they recognize that this is not just some grass that I can step on.
Fact of the matter is, you're right, and there are many women in this country who are doing very well, who are forced to reckon with on a global scale, and these women are finding themselves single because of that phenomenon. Because men are just like, that Maggie on NTV with her psychology, meaning all of this, and looking so nice. I can't approach her. She seems unapproachable. And so what you find is that there's a huge demographic of women who are single because of this. And then you find men who, they're out of college, they've just gotten their new jobs, they're just starting up, they've gotten their little nice apartment in Kile, just got their new car. Chicks are not looking for that guy. Chicks are looking for the guy with the house in Runda. Yes, and the settled 4 motis, right? I mean, that's the reality of where we are right now. So nobody's checking for each other. What can you say to that?
I think both sides of that demographic are making a mistake.
Okay.
In this way, for the women who are, really high performers in many ways, there's nothing wrong with being a high performer. And actually, I resent the idea that you need to like underperform so a man can approach you. It's offensive to you and it's offensive to the man, because you're telling the man, you're not good enough. You really actually can't hack it. So let me let you cheat. Let me give you a Mwakenya and just kind of,
No.
That does not make a man feel confident and respected, right? I think men do need to find their courage and to say, do I like her as a person, or am I distracted by the trappings? And sometimes the trappings are excellent for weeding. Sometimes the trappings are great to get the crap out of the way so that the real people can step in. Right?
Okay.
So if you're a man and the woman, the object of your affection is a high flying, or even you can just be working in a bank, but you're doing really well, your star is rising. If a man is looking at such a woman, the question should be, what do I like about her? And how can I meet with her on a real level? Because if I'm intimidated by this and she's just going to keep rising, then obviously we have no future together.
We'll talk about the flip side of that. The woman who, kind of, that owes the guy who's just starting out in life, right? Because he doesn't have the stuff, material stuff. We'll talk about that in a second. Give it up for Maggie. Isn't she great? I told y'all. I love it when you come over and we talk about love. It's so exciting. All right, guys. So we will be right back after this break as we leave you with really wise words. I love these guys. I actually prescribe to Devon Franklin and Megan Good, wrote a very famous book called The Wait, and they tell their own personal story of how they waited for each other. Take a look at this snippet. And we are back today talking all things love. You know I love it when we talk about love on this show, right? Yes. Someone was telling me, actually, said, Kobi, is your show a relationship show? I said, no. We talk about money, lifestyle, health, wellness, all of these things, education, great things. But yes, of course, we have to talk about relationships. They are a huge part of our lives. So as we are saying, yes, so a man shouldn't be intimidated by the well-to-do woman, but there's also the guy who's starting up who feels that he doesn't have a chance, especially in this town, Nairobi. He doesn't have a chance because, all the nice, hot, lovely chicks are looking for the guy with the money. What can you say about this guy? What does he do? The guy who's single, who wants a good relationship but can't find one because all the girls want him to be. Yeah.
No, I think that's a reality that I resist accepting, except I see that it's true. I just really, I don't like it. I think that if you're, let me say, a lady who is looking for the settled man, you're making a mistake again, because you could be missing out on a guy who's really good to you and good for you because you're so focused on, again, the outside, the trappings.
Yeah.
I really have a theory about attracting love and where it should come from. And my belief is that if you follow your values and your character, I know it sounds very kumbaya, but I really do believe it, because at the end of the day, when these things come off, what's left is just
raw you,
the real you, right? So if you like a girl, the first thing to ask yourself is, why do you like her, regardless of whether she's ignoring you or whatever. And if a guy approaches you, the nice thing to do, first of all, is be a decent human being. Even if you don't like him, there's nothing wrong with saying, I'm really not interested at this time, but there's no need to shame him or make him feel like he's garbage because he doesn't have as much money as XYZ.
Right.
Also, develop some maturity, because it is an immature person who thinks that the person who's up here got up here just one day.
Yes, unless you're corrupt.
Yes. Maturity knows that to get up here, you start from the bottom and you build your way up.
It's funny. I have a girlfriend who's been married for a number of years. I was on her lineup and she always looks, she's like, what are you doing today? I'm like, going out, going out for dinner, going for a movie. She's like, I want your life, and I'm like, why? She goes, Kobi, the freedom, and I think the grass just looks greener, right? Especially for the singles versus the married.
Yes.
I think it's just one of those things. Watch out where you are. Make the grass green where you're standing, which is what I always say.
Could you say that louder?
Like, make the grass where you're standing green. Stop looking at your neighbor's grass. Okay.
What a way for yours.
Exactly.
You are. I read something that said you're responsible for the grass, for the piece of grass that has been assigned to you. So let that grow. Instead of looking at, oh my God, Kobi, la la la. Well, you don't really know Kobi's life. You're just admiring things externally, but what's happening for you internally? What is attractive to you about that?
Right, very, very true. I'm going to introduce a segment called Did You Know very quickly, all right, on facts, all right, that really talk about love and relationships when it comes to the human psyche. Take a look at this. When we come back, we talk about the mess that has made so many of us stay single. It's messy out here, girl. Yes, I bet you didn't know that. Love actually has a huge effect on our lives. And so imagine when the one person you believe you love the most betrays you, when you find out your husband, your wife is cheating, when you find out your daughter who is under 21 has a sponsor. This is what's going on in Kenya. Can we be honest, right? Yeah. There's parties, Maggie, in the country for between 16 and 19-year-olds for them to go and lose their virginity. That's what the society right now is dealing with. Yeah. We have teenage pregnancies that have gone crazy. There's a new strain of gonorrhea, all right, that has just been announced, all right? It's affecting Kenyans. The fact is we are not where we need to be, and we're sort of almost making it seem like it's okay, it's all rosy, it's fine, it will all work out. But I feel like there's a problem, right? So speaking, of course, about the mess, you are a family and sex therapist. You deal with clients, you deal with couples on a day-to-day basis. Am I exaggerating where we are?
No, I don't think you're exaggerating. I think our sexual behavior is a little crazy at the moment. With sexual freedom comes responsibility, and we seem to have taken the freedom and not taken the responsibility along with us. And so I really shouldn't laugh. It's just, sometimes it's overwhelming for me as well.
Yeah.
I mean, my thesis was on adolescent male sexuality and their behavior, and I had a very small case study, but it was depressing. I mean, people don't even know the STIs that are there. And then, of course, because we keep treating certain STIs, now the new strains develop because we keep infecting and reinfecting each other. Some of these are quiet, like pelvic inflammatory disease.
Yeah.
So it's bacterial infection of a woman's, reproductive system.
Yeah.
And it's usually carried by gonorrhea and chlamydia. And maybe for the man, he may not even know that he has an infection. And then so I mean, we're just not paying attention.
Right.
So maybe let me just start by saying, we're in a state in the world, in 100 years we'll look at this season of our lives and it'll be probably a new renaissance or something. Yeah. There's a lot of freedom to kind of do what you want, and I'm okay with that. What I really want to push is the idea that sex is a right, so to speak, but also a responsibility. You have to take responsibility to know what's really going on in your sex life. And abstinence is a valid choice. I feel like I need to put that in there because people either don't realize it or they think that I'm telling people go ahead and have all kinds of sex all the time. If that's what you choose, that's fine. Your sex life is your sexual behavior is your sexual behavior. However, there's a big component of responsibility which begins with, what is my body like? Do I have any illnesses? Does my partner have any illnesses? Am I comfortable having this discussion?
Yeah.
First of all, if you're not comfortable having a discussion about let's get tested, that right there is a clue that maybe you're not ready to have sex, or maybe you're not ready to have sex with this person. Right?
Yeah.
Because in this day and age, the idea that you could be infected with something is not foreign. Unlike 50 years ago when it was a really foreign idea. So, and then when you do get tested, be clear about what's getting tested. Don't go for an HIV test and then assume that they checked for gonorrhea, chlamydia, syphilis, etc. Be clear about what's getting tested, right?
Okay.
If you go for a pap smear, if you're a woman, don't assume what they're testing for. Ask them what they're testing for, so you can figure out what to do about what they're not testing for.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
So start with taking ownership for your own sexual health, because the consequence for that will be borne by you. And if you do have an STI, and if you have, so some of them can be treated and some of them can't. If you do have an STI, get treatment. If you have one of the ones that have no cure, like HPV, HSV, which is herpes, HIV, it's not the end of the world. You just step greater into your responsibility and say, okay, so how do I need to manage my sexual health? Because people who have STIs still have sex, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
It's about having responsible sex.
Great.
Yeah.
Now, speaking, of course, of sex and how we are using it, and speaking especially to young women, because today I'm here in full defense of single people, right? Speaking especially to young women who are single, who are looking for love. Are we using sex as a means to get love and then getting disappointed when the man is not interested in staying?
You know what's interesting? I know we talk about this subject with women in mind.
Yes.
The women are having sex with somebody.
Very true.
Young men.
Yeah.
But also men are feeling, I'm hearing a lot of, oh my God, you mean she was just using me for sex? So women are also users now.
Very true, yes.
Whereas before it used to be the men who are the users of sex.
But
right?
are we built that way as women?
To what?
To just use men for sex?
No, I don't think we're built that way. I think what's happened is we're more in touch with our sex drives to begin with.
Okay.
Whereas before, your sexual desires were really, like, nobody cared about that. Not you, not your mother. When you got the talk about being a good wife, it was about lay there, give him what he needs, and be done with it, right? Now we're in a generation where we're saying, I want to enjoy my sex life. I want to have a partner, a husband, boyfriend who fulfills me and satisfies me. And men are also saying, I don't want to come in and you're just laying there. They say, Kifo chamende. Yeah, I don't want to just come in there and like just lay there. No, I want to feel that you as my partner are engaged in this with me. Whereas before, it was about get in, get out, go home.
Yeah.
Get in, get out, get it done, right?
But there's still, I think, an issue of sort of confusing it for love.
Yes, sorry, I went off on a tangent.
It's okay, it's fine.
We are using sex, generally speaking, we are using sex to kind of try and draw love to us in a sense, right? And obviously that doesn't work. So sex is one thing. Love is another thing. And when they coexist, it's great.
Yeah.
But when you try to make this into this or this into this, it's not going to work. That's a guarantee.
Okay.
So what happens is that if you're trying to replace love with sex, you are going to have sex. You could be having the most incredible sex of your life, and your heart will still be empty. It's like this.
Yeah.
These are flowers. This is a cup. They're not the same thing.
Right.
Trying to pretend that because this is the shape of a cup, it'll hold. It's a mistake.
Yeah.
So, yes, to answer your question, yes, we are using sex to replace love. And I'm not sure, I don't know if it's, sex is accessible like this in terms of the pleasure of sex.
Yes.
You could go behind the wall and have sex and enjoy sex, right?
Not here, Maggie.
I'm just saying. In theory,
yes, in theory, yeah.
But love it's like a meal. Yeah. Love takes time. And we don't seem to have patience.
Yeah.
And you need patience.
Pressure.
Yes, because even in marriage you need patience. I'm not sure why people think after the wedding day everything is all roses.
Right,
it is not.
It's actually harder in terms of keeping up the love, the romance, the feelings.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Because
You've got to put in
options.
you have to put in more work.
It is work.
Yeah.
On one plant. Whereas when you're single, it's like work on roses, tea leaves. When you get married, it's the one guy and the one girl.
And you're stuck, and you've got to work on it.
Yes.
Infidelity, I think very quickly before we take a break, is such a big deal right now.
Yes.
Everyone's cheating, not everyone.
Yeah.
And and I need to say this, and Sesmo actually inspired this in me. Very happy with his wife. They hope to be happy for many years to come. They were happy in a relationship, all of that. Sesmo is a huge representation of many family units in this country. Really, because actually the fact is, all these gutter press, all these funny shows, all these blogs that really talk about what's ailing us and what's wrong with us, they're never going to focus on Sesmo and his wife. No. Because they're fine, they're happy.
Also, they're boring.
Yeah.
What's the story? They fell in love, they got married, where are the ratings? We want the guys who are bleeding. You guys in media have the thing that says if it bleeds, it leads, right? That's a terrible way to go through life.
It is. But this is how we're functioning. We're not paying attention, and we're not focusing on the marriages and relationships and love situations that work. We're focusing on the ones that don't. The pastor who was busted in the middle of the afternoon in a motel with Drew's wife. That's actually where our focus has been for years.
Yeah.
In actual fact, you buy that paper, you're like, I need to see this pastor.
I know.
But if that front page actually says, look at this happy couple that had lunch at KFC on Sunday. Will you buy that paper? Never. Right? What's wrong with us?
No, even the narrative. If we had a narrative that said, we had a story, I think 2 years ago, rates of HIV infection increasing in married couples, we all were talking about it. It was the biggest story. But if NTV Nation ran a story that said rate of marital happiness goes up by 50%, we're like,
guys will hold
50%.
Guys will hold that paper, take it home in the evening, and ask the wife, where?
Then
it becomes a story. I don't know. So we'll talk about that and find some solutions to some of these issues. I feel like we need a national relationship prayer day.
We need a prayer day of our own.
Don't we? I think so. Yeah. I think so. All right, everybody, give it up for Maggie. She's awesome. All right. So when we come back, we'll speak to the audience, of course. All right, and we'll pour more love into your life this morning and give you solutions. If you are single, what do you need to change about what you've been doing? All right. If you are in a marriage not feeling so great, we'll give you a solution for that too. But if you're one of those who cheats, we don't have solutions for you, right?
You can stop.
Stopping.
They can come see me and we can work out.
No, these people need to be banned to an island to Singa.
See, we take a much more compassionate view on
you're the professional. Here we go. All right, we take a quick break. We'll be right back after this, everybody. Thank you, Maggie.
Thank you.
Yay! I took a small survey to find out who is single, all right? Crew and audience. I think we're doing better than we last year, Han.
Oh, are we doing better?
We're doing much better.
Okay.
Crew members are hooked up. Yeah, there are people here who I love. Kina Sule, Kina Kosodo. I see y'all, and I hope it lasts. And I hope Better Living we go to many weddings in 2017 into 2018.
Amen.
Right? Okay, we're going to give a chance to the audience to ask a question, but of course, looking at solutions, where we are, and how we begin to really start to rein back a lot of what we've done. Because I feel like love, relationships, cheating, being mean to each other, the betrayal, it carries so much guilt and bitterness. And letting that go is a huge load. What do you think?
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree. I always say, though, that there's always hope. For as long as you have breath in you, if you're cheating, you can always choose different. I was joking earlier, but it is true. We do take a more compassionate view on people who are making harmful decisions for themselves or their relationships. And I look at that as a question of kind of needing to fill yourself up with something and choosing the wrong thing, right?
Yeah.
So coping with maybe your relationship isn't good. And it's easier to get it from somebody already, kind of pre-installed from somebody else. But you can always make a different choice. You can always make a different choice.
Yeah, and I always find that in relationships we have this vicious cycle mentality. So you're constantly going back to that crazy ex, and expecting them to change or be different, right? You're constantly doing the same thing, expecting different results. You hang out with your friends, reggae nights every Wednesday, uko klabi, you're expecting this is where you'll meet your godly man. It's not going to happen. Right? So how do you start to change your environment if you want your circumstance to be different?
Well, start changing the things that are driving you. Some of us came from very damaging homes. Some of us came from very damaging experiences, and we let them drive us. But when you keep failing at the same thing over and over, it's prudent to stop and say, what am I missing, right? Maybe you've been going from hurt. Your ex hurt you, and so you're just angry and kind of already you're putting people off. So it could be time to stop and pay attention to that. I am a really firm believer in that beginning to focus on yourself and what makes your soul come alive is what attracts another person to you.
Nice.
Because then you're doing it from a position of strength and clarity and calm and love already.
And you,
There's already love in your life. And people are attracted to that. That's when love can come in. Because it's like, oh, I recognize love. But when you're really defensive, you're angry, you're hurt, you're confused, you're just kind of acting out, you're not really paying attention to what you're doing. Even if love was circling you, there's just, all it sees is sharks.
Yeah.
If I go in there, she's going to snuff me out, or he's going to snuff me out.
And there's something to be said, I think, about being single for a really long time, because you always feel like something is wrong, or what if could, and you a lot of people who are in that situation would look back into their past and wonder, did my past determine where I am today? And most of the time, no.
I would say no.
Yeah.
I would only say yes if past behavior is influencing your present actions.
Okay.
Yeah, because your behavior today in the present is what is really impacting you today.
Yeah.
So even in therapy, I don't need to go so way back into your past unless your past is influencing your present, because then your present will influence your future.
I love it. Yeah.
So I look at a person like a tree. So the behavior they're bringing into my office is the leaves. Yeah, I'm not dating, I'm cheating, whatever. Those are just the leaves, this stuff.
Yeah.
I'm more interested in the trunk and the roots and the soil in which those roots are planted. So that's what I look at. I look at what is driving this person to go back to their ex. What is it that your ex holds that is a promise to you? What is it you see there that makes sense for you, that feels familiar to you? Because once we identify, then you can say, oh, it's because my mom or my dad did this, or I had this idea. No wonder this person is familiar. Then you can choose now from a place of insight and clarity. I tell my clients, and I'll tell you, I believe that insight and clarity are only useful if you use them.
Yeah.
And I was joking with my Facebook friends and saying using them is a problem, isn't it? I mean, you're just like, I know the problem, but it's so hard to get out. Yes, implementation.
That's the tough part.
But we consider that the chaos that is necessary for change. That's why therapy is not intimidated by whatever you come in. If you have an affair, I'm not worried about that. That is just the chaos that is necessary for change.
Okay.
Yeah.
Great stuff.
So it's
Maggie.
a friend. Chaos is a friend.
Isn't she awesome? Yeah. And guess what? These guys have questions. Yeah, you can clap. Sorry, guys. They do. They do. Not many singles though. We have some guys who are like, Kobi, Misiko single, Misiko single, and I'm happy for y'all. I hope you stay in love for those who are, all right? But we have a lady here at the front. Okay, I think. Are you single? On national television, is it complicated?
You're putting me on the spot.
No, no. Okay, you don't have to say anything, honey. What's your name?
My name is Ashley.
Ashley. Okay, go ahead.
I was wondering, how can you know if somebody is good for you? Because there's some people who can come to you, you think they love you, but they're just choosing you. They say all the right words to you, they do all the right things, but they have ulterior motives. So how can you know who's good for you and who's not?
Yeah, and using most of the time is just that they want sex, especially, right? That's what you mean. Yeah, or money.
Or I was about to say, or money. One of the key things I look at is how do you feel when you're done spending time with this person? So, for example, today, when we're done taping this show, how do you feel an hour later? Do you feel uplifted, or do you feel kind of Because that is like your instinct. It's a non-verbal way of your body telling you this is going well and this is not going well, right? So that's one way. Another way is, does this person say things, do things, or ask you to do things that violate something for you? So let's say for you, integrity is a really big deal. And this person wants you to kind of, that just feels, that doesn't feel right. Pay attention to that. A lot of times our instincts and our internal guiding system, which is pre-installed in everybody, we're all born with it. Mm. We don't pay attention because it whispers. Yeah. Right now I'm talking really loudly, I have a mic, you can hear me. But a lot of times your instincts don't come to you this way. They'll tell you, Kobi, are you sure about that? I don't know your name, but they'll say, pretty lady in the front, does this feel right to you, right? So you have to learn to like lower the voice, yeah. the noise, so you can hear that thing. Another thing, I'll tell you this, and this is a family rule for us now, and my mom knows this. The minute you feel, just something that makes you go, pay attention to it, even if you don't know what it's about. Even if you don't know, like,
what was that?
What was that about? So is it about, like, you and I are really good friends. If I have that, my first instinct would be to say, but Kobi's my friend. Why would I be feeling, Trust it anyway. If you're wrong, you'll sort out the wrongness, ukombele, right?
But imagine if you're right.
90% of the time you will be right. And the 10%, you're right, you just don't want to see it, right? So if you're waiting for a big banner in the sky to tell you he is the one, it's not coming. What's coming is already what's pre-installed inside you, your internal guiding system.
Yeah. All right, we have another question right there next. And I know the guy sitting next to you is the one also who instigated this. I want a man to talk to me. Go ahead, honey.
Okay. I wanted to ask this question about ladies approaching men. You find that there's a single lady who wants to approach a man. There's a widow who wants to approach a widower. She really has a feeling for that person. But now this notion that a chick is not supposed to approach a man, or a widow is not supposed to approach a widower. How would you tell us about that? How would you advise us to go about it?
Great question. What a good question. Thank you for that.
Meaning, can ladies initiate?
Yeah.
Let me have a laugh for a second.
Take your time.
So, I don't know how to respond to that. I think let me kind of just be
blunt.
Yeah.
Naked.
Right?
Throw it out there.
In this day and age, women really can't do anything they want. I mean, it's true. But what I find and what I see, professionally and personally, is that there's, you know how in life there's a yin and a yang? So men are wired a certain way and we are wired a certain way. And I feel like when we as ladies initiate, the men may not hate it in the beginning, but then it reaches a point and they never got to use their hunting skills. They never, it's like they were born with a bow and arrow, and then
You came with
we
a
came
bigger
with our
board.
own, I know, we came with our own board.
Doesn't work, yeah.
So I wouldn't encourage a female to initiate. In fact, I would encourage a female to be present, but to lean back. Because when you lean forward, the other person tends to lean back, right? So lean back so that he may lean into you. However, when you're like this, it doesn't really endear somebody to want to come to you. I mean, it'd be kind of weird if I just came across the stage to you because you're thinking, you know, what's going on? I'm sitting properly. So it's about being around him. And you can invite him like to a gig, or you can say, there's, you know, take me, I go see Wonder Woman, or let's go see, you know, for the things, everything around it. But in terms of initiating the actual, I like you, do you like me conversation, I wouldn't do it. I know that's not very...
No, I'm with you.
Feminist,
I'm completely with you on that, because there's ways to also communicate that, you know. There's ways that you can kind of mimic someone's behavior, you know. You can start to genuinely like the things they like to do, you know, hang out with them, right? If this person likes to do movies and stuff like that, then they'll be able to tell. But if you've been there for like 3-4 years and there's been a zero, I think leave it.
I think so. I mean, and also, there's no one who doesn't like compliments or appreciation, right?
Yeah.
Like, I'll tell you, I'm a Man U fan, but I'm like the worst fan in the world. I don't even know our best players. I'm like terrible. If I wanted to date a guy and he likes Arsenal, I might start paying attention just to see what's the big deal here. And I would probably tell him, you know, you've made me like Arsenal. I never used to know anything, and now I kind of know a bit, you know. So unaniambukiza hiyo ugonjwa yako ya Arsenal. Already he starts to know, oh, so I'm having an impact someplace, right? What you're trying to do is get him to turn towards you. Because he may not be, the DJ could be facing forward for all I know. But if I said something to do with the DJ, he immediately turned this way, right? So as a lady, you want to try and get the guy with sweetness. When he texts you, be sweet and text back in a nice way. I don't mean immediately, but I mean use a bit of wisdom. But I'm saying try to get him to turn his attention in your direction. If you need his help, by all means ask. Because
men like to feel needed.
Men will agree, they like feeling like, I got this.
You the man.
Right?
Yeah.
But then give him the chance to ask you, because for him to ask you, he has to build up his courage and he has to assess you, especially if he's thinking about you in a long-term way. He's not going to come to you very quickly. Be wary of men who just see you and immediately want to marry you, because easy come, easy go.
Okay, good stuff. All right. We have one more guy right there, Alan. Good morning.
Morning, Kobi.
How are you?
I'm fine.
So you're a great fan of this show. We really love you on Better Living, Alan. Thanks for being here.
Thanks.
Go ahead, ask Maggie.
Morning, Maggie.
Good morning.
So I have a question. For example, if a lady and I have a platonic friendship and I desire to take it to the next level of a relationship. Now, for example, for me, the challenge is like, kuna woga fulani tuseme to goosebumps hivi zikusumbua hapa na pale. So approach ile mtu anafaa kuwa nayo to start it off.
I like to say again, everything is better between friends. So hiyo time unafeel uko ready, muulize si tuende Koroga Fest, nasikia kuna ka gig flani kana come, you know, like invite her to something that you like, but something you really like. If you don't like those music gigs, don't go there, because your mind will be too, kama ni mse wa Gor ama sijui AFC, muulize tu utenda ball, tunatenda ball pamoja, you know, something that will make her say okay, right? And then an event is good because men, generally speaking, are not able to do what you and I are doing. This very like, I mean, your eyes are in my eyes, it's very intimidating and unnerves them. Unlike us ladies, we can all day long. So an event that you like means that you have a legit distraction, and yet you're both enjoying each other's company. And that eases you into a different kind of circle, to, you know, friend pool into like potential pool. Then you can now make your case after you've had a good time. You can tell her, you know, I've been thinking about it and I've known you a long time, and you know, what do you think if we date? I'd be interested in that.
Okay.
And then just kind of take it from there. The nerves are also your friend. Let me add that. I know because they don't feel good, you think like, it's a sign, it's a sign. It's just a sign that you care about her. Because when you don't care, do you really feel anything? When you, Mama Mboga, do you feel jitters for your Mama Mboga?
No.
Because after she gives you your mboga, see, you've gone home.
Yeah.
There's no investment. But when you feel nervous about a girl or a guy, you should know that now your mind is telling you, okay, now we're being serious. Sasa jokes tumeacha sasa.
Right.
Are you getting?
Which is great.
Yes, so be glad you have those jitters.
Give it up for Maggie, guys. You're so awesome.
Thank you.
Can we package you, bottle you, and just take you in our handbags?
Yeah, put me in here.
You do help many people, individuals, couples, and marriages as well. I think you have to come back for the infidelity talk. It's a big one.
I would love that.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
a really big thing.
Okay, you come back for that?
Yes, absolutely.
All right. But Maggie, you do therapy, you help people, you help families. Talk to me a little bit about that.
Okay, so I'm a marriage, family, and sex therapist. To be honest, people don't hear the marriage or the family, they only hear the sex therapist.
Yeah, I know.
Which is fine by me. The reason I went for to get my master's was because I wanted to be a sex therapist anyway.
Okay.
So I just think, that's fine. So I have an office in town. And so I see clients there. Sometimes I do like I have met with parents who want to learn how to talk about sex with their children because it's a really kind of awkward topic.
Yeah.
I've done, some corporate things just because companies are also paying attention to the fact that a more grounded employee is better for the company.
Yes.
For interrelationships, for the bottom line financially. So I kind of am very multifaceted in that sense.
Okay.
And I do see individuals and I do see couples and families as well. I know because I'm a sex therapist, people feel like I don't have a sex problem, so she's not the one for me.
Yeah.
When you say you're a sex therapist, it's just like when somebody else says that I deal with substance abuse. Yeah. You all train as therapists, counselors, psychotherapists, and then you specialize. So I just specialized in matters of sexuality.
Okay.
I write a column every week, and I mean that's also a good avenue to reach many people every Saturday. So it's I'm trying to do a lot with what is available for me because I'm really focused on the impact. I can't see every single Kenyan citizen in my office. It's just logistically impossible.
Which is why we invite you here. Yeah, so
I
people even in
appreciate-
which county who are facing these issues
they
can
have the
also see
chance.
you. But what we'll do also is that we are going to connect you guys to Maggie on our social media platforms. She's awesome, especially on Facebook. Read her comments, they're hilarious. Her updates, they're hilarious. All right, so we'll go ahead and connect you to our viewers on social media. But one thing I wanted you guys to know is that she can sing. This woman can sing. I'm just finding this out. This is crazy. You do many things. All right, so how long have you been singing?
I've been singing probably over 15 years.
Wow. Are you willing to sing us into goodbye? Kidogo.
I can.
Yeah? All right, so let me say goodbye first. Guys, give it up for Maggie. Give it up for Maggie. She's awesome. She's awesome. She's awesome. All right, she's so great. Right, guys, love is a beautiful thing, okay? Keep it honest, all right? If you are single, just wait. And listen, log on to social media platforms where I'm going to connect you to that Megan Good and Yvonne Franklin, The Wait. It is so eye-opening and it will really, really settle you if you're feeling a little bit desperate and your time is running out. It is not. God has a great plan for you and he's got a great mate for you. Hang in there for a second. Thank you, Maggie. Are you all set?
Sure.
All right. What are you singing for us?
It's actually one of my favorite pieces.
Okay.
It's not for my voice type, but I insist on singing it.
Go for it. We're open. We love music here. Okay.
All right. Oh, it's in Italian.
Go for it,
Okay,
please.
Okay. O mio bambino caro, mi piace bello, bello, vuoi andare in Porta Rosa a comprar l'anello. Sì, sì, pieno